One night we went out to this acid house, dude, and it completely changed our lives. I couldn't believe it.
Acid! That's a word on everybody's lips. Even the tabloids are talking about it. Today we're inviting you to experience the acid house phenomenon at our Network 7 hip, happy and grooving party. As you can see, the studio's filled with hundreds of people who've been up all night fueled by a diet of Lucozade and ice pops, dancing under hot strobe lights. Williams has just got off a plane from Amsterdam, where you've been on a 3-day acid house binge.
That's right.
Yeah. Have you had any sleep?
Well, a few hours, just literally a few hours.
How do you keep going all that time?
Just pure rhythm, dancing, really, just keeps you up.
So is acid house big in Europe? What areas is it big in?
Well, in Holland, like, they're just like having their first thing now, like first few parties, like this 3-day thing, and like next week they're having another like massive 3-day party.
It's hit Europe now, but Barry from Spectrum, can you tell us what the origins?
Origins, house music's from Chicago, right? Detroit is techno now, and Paradise Garage, where it happened in New York. That's acid house. But here in London, where we've arrived now, is Balearic as well from Ibiza.
So it's a unique scene.
Mixed up, and it's not happening anywhere else in the world but London.
Is it just London-based?
No, it's happening in Manchester, it's happening in the provincial cities, it's starting to.
Great. Well, later we'll be coming back to, during our party, to the music, the drugs, and the acid industry.
Spectrum!
The place is London. The year is 1988, and Network 7 News is investigating the acid house phenomenon that is sweeping across Great Britain and bringing together young people from all walks of life. The message is, get happy, and the spirit is love. The question we are all asking, though, is this the summer of love, or is it yet another fashion flashback to the 60s? We talked to a group of young acid house revelers to find out what's going down.
I'm a builder, and I work for a living. I used to be a Herbert. A Herbert is the sort of person that would go out on a Saturday afternoon, have plenty to drink, go to football, and just smash trouble, the living daylights out of everybody, just for the fun of it. I was the same. I was basically a football hooligan. But, you know, look at me now.
Say what you like about the younger generation, but in all this multitudinous gathering, through these 3 tumultuous days, there were no riots, no chaos, none of the antisocial disruption which much smaller football crowds so often display.
Well, I'm an international model, and my life changed on February 14th, on Valentine's Day, when I saw this man making a scouring expression, leaned my hand over a sea full of heads, and said, "Why should such a face be scouring when it's covered in lipstick?" And the rest is history.
What do I say? Don't say it.
He said,
no.
"Taste it." And I did. And he was a typical Herbert, and I love him.
Don't know what the younger generation's coming to.
I think it's a basic, classic case of attitude change totally. You know, I got fed out of the same old routine, Saturday afternoon, getting drunk. Drinking, fighting, being generally aggressive and showing off to your pals and that.
Well, where was the individuality in that? I'm discovering the poetry of this charming Herbert. And in no other situation would he be sitting with a naff American model.
Yeah, I'm a total changed man as a result of acid house, really and surely. It's opened my eyes to what friendship really is all about, you know?
Reg said the most poignant thing to me one night. He said,
Reg the veg.
Jane, come here, love, sit down. You love me, don't you? And I said, "Why, yes, I do. How did you know?" And he said, "Because I love the way you love me."
And when you said that, you just about said a lot.
You get Herberts from football matches mixing around with a gay crowd, for instance.
Dancing on the same floor and just going berserk.
And just wondering how you managed before you knew them. And why you just assumed you hated them.
Before, they probably steam into you, wouldn't they, by looking at you? And now they're just with you. They've broken
down
a lot of barriers, definitely. A lot of barriers have been broken down.
It's worth remembering that in the 60s, there was an extremely rich, not in financial terms, social mix around the hippie scene. You would find yobbos from Shepherd's Bush and Tyneside rubbing shoulders with renegade old Etonians, art students, ex-beatniks, you know, Jewish mods on drugs, all mixing it up together, though with a certain amount of mutual suspicion occasionally. And this again is something that seems to be mimicked in this scene. And you know, anything which does break down class boundaries, even if it's only for a night and everyone climbs back into their own little boxes the next morning, just for having had the experience, I think it's beneficial.
In acid house clubs, you got your strobe and
Lasers.
Laser.
Smoke machine.
plenty of smoke.
Smoke machine.
Plenty of smoke, yeah. Very, very, very loud
Very loud.
sound system. And
Packed dance floor, definitely. The heat is enormous.
There's definitely the notion, both then and now, of the use of, say, you know, the strobe lights, the light shows, the loud music, and so on and so forth, a systematic derangement of the senses in order to liberate the spirit and the body.
Among all the things they swallowed, 70 tons of beer.
As an observation that I've noticed, a classic example is when you go to a club, say, a couple of years ago, people would be like doing their best to get as much alcohol down their neck as they could. But now, believe me or not, Lucasade is the in thing.
It's extremely healthy because the mood of the 80s has so far been very acquisitive. It's been very much about be a winner, you know, stomp anyone who gets in your way, grab, grab, grab. And here, you know, an ideology of going out to be friendly, to be non-aggressive, to have fun without having to triumph over anybody else or to create losers. In this scene, it sounds that when it's going well, there are no losers, everybody wins. And, you know, that's nice.
A great time was had by all.
This is Zio. Zio, you're just about to remix Glenn's.
Hello, Glenn.
record.
Hey there.
Can you just tell us what you're going to do with it? There's the record.
Okay, yes, we've been given the record. Okay, the record. What we're going to do is we're going to take bits of the record, we're going to sample them into this computer right here. We're going to then take the music and sample it into this computer, and we're going to modify and go in and change things all around. From that computer, into this system, mixed into this console, coming out with the finished product.
How do you think...
Glenn Madeira's acid style.
How do you think this record is going to sound? Is it the kind of record you're used to?
No, this is definitely not a usual record we'd make an acid house record out of, which is why we're accepting the challenge. But it should be cool.
Do you think it's going to work?
Yeah, do you think it's going to work? Yeah.
And do you think it's going to be done by the end of the show?
Oh, definitely it'll be interesting by the end of the show. Oh.
Okay, Glenn and I are going to leave you to it and go and suck some ice pops.
Thanks, yeah.
Come through here.
Is that all right?
Yep, great, well done. Central aspect of the scene has been that some clubbers get their kicks from taking drugs like LSD, which is acid, and ecstasy. Now, they're both classed as Class A drugs by the government, which means they're in the most dangerous category. Most people have heard of the drugs, but how do they work, and what do they do to your brain? Julie Whitcomb is a doctor at Guy's Hospital in London. Julie, why do people take LSD or acid?
They take it because one of the effects of LSD is that it alters your mood, and it can alter your mood in a very positive way and make you feel very good and high. And that's the reason people take it.
How does it actually work on the brain?
How it works is it alters the transmitters that take messages from some of the cells in the brain to other of the cells in the brain. And it interferes with some of those messages being carried so that the things that you're sensing become mixed up and you've got no control over them.
What happens when you're tripping?
Right, what happens when you're tripping is that because, as I explained, the transmitters are mixed up, firstly you hear and see and sense everything heightened and distorted. Also, very peculiar things happen whereby some of the messages coming in by one sense, say you hear something, you actually experience it as seeing it.
Does everyone have the same experience?
No, it doesn't, and this is one of the problems. The experience changes depending on what the person's like, how they're feeling when they take the acid, and also what the circumstances are surrounding them when they take it.
Right. What are the dangers of taking acid?
The main danger is that in some people who are thought to be predisposed in the first place, they can have a major breakdown, and they're sick for the rest of their lives.
So basically what you're saying is that on the whole, when people take acid, it makes them behave as if they had a psychiatric problem.
That's right.
Right. Okay, well, I'm just going up here to talk to David, who's a bouncer at the WAG Club, who'll let me in a minute, I hope. But before he does, do you get a lot of clubbers taking drugs in clubs?
Well, they do before they come into a club, but once they're in the club, they take it on the premises.
How do you tell when a club is taking drugs?
Well, they just start jumping around and just being wild as they are.
What do you do about it?
Well, we have to eject them from the club, obviously.
How many people have you thrown out
Well,
as a result of it? Or do you throw
other night on a Friday night, you could get up to 30 people that have been thrown out.
Is that recently?
Yeah,
Is that a recent phenomenon?
Since the acid started, yeah.
Are you going to let me in now?
I don't know, you'll be all right, but I don't know about the cameras.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to go in and see why LSD became associated with the acid house scene. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could you come over here, Steve, please? Could you step outside a minute? Excuse me. What? Should we go somewhere a bit more quiet? If we can get Steve out here, please. Steve, all I wanted to ask you, there's too much noise in there, is how did LSD is the acid house scene related to LSD? How did it become related to LSD?
I mean, the actual drug thing has never been part of what it was all about. When it was started, there was no mention of drugs. I think basically what it is because the term acid house has been used, and because everybody's adopted a sort of 70s sort of hippie psychedelia type thing as what seems relevant with it. A lot of people who don't really understand what it's about have just said, oh, acid, that's a big name for LSD, these people are all taking drugs. Because everybody's like a bit crazy and has a really good time, so basically they're just high on adrenaline.
So that's how it got its druggy reputation?
It's a misconception. People having a good time and everybody just assumes to have a good time, you must be on drugs.
Right, another myth hits the fan. Shall we go back in and take some ice box?
Have an ice box.
How about Lucas there? Back at the Network 7 recording studio where Zio, producer, and acid DJ Paul Oakenfold are remixing Glenn Medeiros' new single. How's it going?
It's going really good. Basically, this is the main groove that we've got.
Yeah.
We've taken his voice, we've sampled it, we've done all of the different stuff. We've started to add guitar, various vocals.
Right, so you've got the live musicians.
Right, we've got
in there.
live musicians and whatnot, countrymen and blast. And we're adding all the parts right now. By the time you get back to us at the end, we'll have everything assimilated.
Will it sound anything like the original?
Hopefully not. No.
Hopefully not.
It's not supposed to sound anywhere like the original at all.
Do you think Glenn is going to like it?
Yeah, you'll love it. We've converted Glenn today. Glenn's now an acid freak.
Right. Okay, well, get on with it.
Okay,
and
thanks.
I'll come back. You don't need any Lucozade or anything.
No Lucozade. We're cool.
Right, okay. The hype over acid house has reached such proportions that a healthy acid industry is flourishing. Now, H here runs a shop called Soul to Soul, which sells acid clothes. Are you making a lot of money out of it?
At the moment, the sales are very good from anything related to the acid factor because it's very popular, very much in demand at the present moment.
How long do you think it's all going to last?
It could be anything between, say, 6 months to a year. It all really depends on how long the people remain really interested and hooked to the music.
You're raking it in.
Yeah, we're doing all right at the moment.
Okay, well, Anton the Pirate is one of the original house music people in this country. Do you like what H just said, that the fact that he's making quite a lot of money out of acid house?
I mean, there are people making money out of the scene. That's inevitable with any scene. You're going to get people that are going to make money. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun involved in this scene. It's something that we haven't seen on in sort of London clubland for at least 10 years. It's just a massive thing.
Where do you think it's all going to go?
It's going to split two ways. You're going to see it you're going to see an underground movement start up again. This is where it originated. Because a lot of people are fed up with the mass exposure.
So how? Are you going to quit it? Are you going to go underground or what?
I don't know. I think I'm going to enjoy both sides of it. I've got a lot of friends that have just joined the scene. I've got a lot of mateys that were on the scene before. So, you know, it can go both ways. I'm going to be around for it.
Okay, well, we're nearing the end of the show, and we've got to find out how Glenn Medeiros' remix is going. Where's Glenn? He's dancing in here somewhere. Glenn! Oh, go. Come under the cables.
Go on, Harry.
Yeah, we've got to pop along and think if we make a quick sprint over here. Find out how Zio's doing. Hey, Zio. Yeah, you finished?
Yeah, we finished.
Okay, let's hear it then.
Okay, well, here it is.
Looking forward to it. Anything like the original? What do you think?
Great.
What do you make of it?
Great.
You like it?
Love it, yeah.
Are you going to put out an acid explosion of it yourself?
Good, it'd be great.
Yeah?
It'd be great.
You don't mind the fact that it doesn't sound anything like the original? It's quite amazing you're doing.
I think it's great. I think it's great.
Well, it's quite simple for you to do. It's fine. Right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you know, the moment you have a Glenn Medeiros kind of remix version of Acid House, I'm just beginning to wonder whether the scene is dead, really. Do you think it's dead?
No, of course not. Yeah, what it really shows is that this music is going to replace high energy. This is going to be the new dance music. It's going to continue. Just the fact that we could do a Glenn Medeiros record like that, like we've done the Bra Circuit and whatnot, shows that the major industries see this as a marketing tool. This music's going to now become the music throughout the world in dance clubs. It's the only music that you can truly dance to. It's Western civilization's first whirling dervish music. You can dance all night to.
Are you going to give up your ballads?
Maybe after this.
Yeah, seriously. We've got an exclusive on whether you're going to give up ballads or not.
I'll be doing a little both, I think.
Okay, well, I think you've done a pretty good job here, Zio. I think Glenn and I will go back to the party.
Right. Thanks a lot.
You want to come back? Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Okay. I think we've run across again.